Today is day 7 of our fast, and so we are 1 week down. Well done, everybody. And today in our devotionals, we're looking at Jeremiah chapter 2, and our job is to meditate on Jeremiah chapter 2. The entire thing is God calling his people to account for forsaking him, that he has led them through the wilderness out of Egypt into the promised land, and now the people have ceased to walk by faith, and they're trusting themselves, and they're no longer trusting in God. Then in verse 13, God says to him, "My people have committed 2 evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living water, and they have hewn for themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water." It's good. You know, in this building alone, we have about 25 faucets that I can go turn on and just drink the water that comes out. And so what God's saying here could be lost on us, but it wouldn't have been lost on Jews in the Old Testament. They recognized that water meant life. Water meant thriving. It meant flourishing. It meant blooming. They lived in a desert climate. Without water, they would die. Without water, all their livestock would die. Their homes would cease to be, their farms would cease to work. Everything about them would stop. And so they recognized how important water was. And what God is saying to them is by stopping walking by faith, by stopping trusting in me, you have forsaken the fountain of living water. That God gives fresh, clean life day after day. And that you've tried to hewn for yourself cisterns, because the problem is those cisterns are broken. Cisterns were these deep pits that they would dig, and they would try to store water in them. But God's saying that the cisterns that we try to dig for ourselves, those cisterns are broken and they can't hold any water. I wonder how often in our life we don't want to walk by faith, because walking by faith is hard. Trusting God for our life, trusting God for our identity, trusting God for our sustenance is difficult. It's challenging. And so we want to try to rely on ourselves. We want to try to dig our own cisterns. We want to try to protect our own life, make our own way. Yet God says that doesn't work. In fact, it's evil. For us to do what's right, it means that we have to trust in him. We have to walk by faith. We have to trust him for those things in our life. And as we do it, it's like a fountain of living water. It never runs dry. There's always new life for us. There's always new hope for us. So I want to encourage us today, as we're meditating on that, what ways have we tried to dig our own cisterns? What ways have we tried to make a life for ourselves apart from God? Have we stopped walking by faith? Have we stopped trusting in him? And how do we return to him and come back to him and say, "Lord, I want to walk by faith. I want to trust you with my life"?